those are like the really good parties of the best mixture, which like is really sad that doesn't really exist anymore. Literally, I don't remember shit about this party, so I can't tell you shit.
It was fairly new. I mean, I called Erickson the Bob Barker of brunch, and I was Vanna White, and like the retro kids
You
are
know,
dancing in the middle of it.
and who's that? That's me. Is that you?
Yes, I'm just wearing a wig.
Hey there, it's me, Roxy Cottontail. You might know me as a DJ, artist, designer, and New York City party promoter, or from my bunny logo. I'm putting all that on the table and writing about the years that transformed music and the New York City scene. I've interviewed 250 friends and colleagues I admire. I ask all and reveal all. Please join me in the tales to rediscover the 90s and the Y2K magical landscape of music, art, technology, and streetwear. This is Roxy's Tales.
Well, so why don't you introduce yourself, who you are, what you do?
I'm Frog. I'm Dances with White Girls. I'm a music artist, producer, DJ, rapper, low for rapping more now. New York club demon from Philly, living in LA now.
My guest this week on Roxy's Tales is the one and only Dances with White Girls. Also known as Frog, he is a DJ, producer, rapper, and style icon. His events and DJ sets in the Y2K era, specifically his party Rando, created a wave of genre crossover that influenced downtown New York City and eventually globally. Grabbing the ears of many EDM greats, Frog bends the rules with his sermons and hilarity with over-the-top bangers. He is an inspiration beyond belief, having survived the craziest life. Frog is a rock star through and through. Without further ado, Dances with White Girls.
I honestly, I don't know how we met. I'm gonna guess Peg Leg.
Yeah, you was probably doing some party, like is the East Village party, like not on a bit, like I probably just came through of like, peg leg and stuff, were you cool with Claw money and stuff?
No. Claw was like,
yeah, like it was probably a Team Facelift, probably Team Facelift because because I live with Fonda from Facelift and stuff like that. I live with Fonda, I live with Sibo and stuff like that. So like I was there, I was like living with them. So I probably came like a Facelift, peg leg party, one of those two things, and like I met you through them and stuff like that.
And so you came to New York when from Philly?
I came to New York in 2001.
So you started DJing professionally? Like, where was your first gig?
My first gig was at this place called Good World. It was in the Chinatown, Lower East Side and stuff like that. I guess close to what they call Dime Square now. You go around the corner or something like that. But like right by it was a Swedish bar restaurant and they had music on Saturdays. And I DJ'd there, me with like this dude Milk Money, who was the first dude I DJ'd with. And I just that was when I held down.
Were you playing?
I was playing on the week. I was playing top 40 with that stuff mixed in, which people like at that time. Like they didn't really like. I played lots of hip hop and stuff like that because I was like trying to play MIA records and all this other stuff mixed in with like hip hop and stuff like that. And then I switched over and I went to Fat Baby. That was like, well, I was like still playing like I played like Nelly Furtado into whatever. Those are my weekend gigs. That was like my thing, that's what I did every Saturday. But then I would also be doing stuff on Fridays and Thursdays or Wednesdays and like after hours and double up my gigs all the time where I would play an extra class or something, like where I would like be dancing with white girls as opposed to like I'm DJing at Fat Baby on a Saturday, and so like there's that, and like I don't know what year is this picture from. That's suspect.
This is 2008.
Yeah, I definitely was edging out from like I really stopped like out of the grind of like trapping and doing all the parties and stuff like that, and like really I was like putting out music and stuff. So as like the period from me working to me doing electro crash stuff is like probably like a year and a half or so. I would try to play the parties. I would play like underground and warehouse stuff, but I wasn't like putting out remixes and stuff that people sort of knew.
Yeah.
And then once I start like doing hoverboard stuff and everything, then like things started changing when like it was like, oh, there's like a club remix. Like and like probably when I first met you, I might have just been Strong when I
Yeah.
first met
I
you.
was
When I can't
wondering,
remember like
when did you start DJing as Dances with White Girls, and how did that moniker come about?
my first remixes were just Frog. Like my first remixes club things that like I put up and like I just like wasn't even on the Hollywood. I just like gave to people just like, oh, Frog did this remix. Um I I how I had MySpace names and my name one day was Your Only Black Friend. And then I changed it to Dances to White Girls, which means the same sort of thing. It's like Dance to White Girls is about the movie Dance to Wolves. This is a white savior story. And my whole thing is all about like, Electro Clash at that time. And like Black House is very, very pale. And I'm like, it comes from this thing. So I'm just like trying to illustrate that, it's not like that. It's sort of reverse thing in a catchy way, but it's an old movie now. I was looking at the MySpace name and I was just like, yo, this MySpace name is a really dope DJ name because I knew that Frog wasn't movable and I was like, I like to separate myself from the work and at a certain point. And I was like, yo, dance to the white girls. I just went with it, and that's how it goes. Did you do stereo on Tuesdays?
Wednesdays. Yeah, this was I think 2006, and
Yeah,
this party was with the Misshapes. Aaron was one of those.
yeah,
Junior Sanchez
yeah,
was the regular DJ, and
yeah,
I have an email from Junior saying, like, introducing me to Jordan from the Misshapes and being like, you guys have to work with
yeah,
Roxy. And that's how that party.
yeah. No, no, yeah, yeah. That party was, yeah. See that I like Sway Mondays. I used to go to Sway Mondays a lot, but I definitely liked because I'm just a clubby person. I like this party
Yeah.
more than Sway. I was there. I forgot. I would like sometimes I'd be like get a drink from the misshaped table if I could, and then I feel some of the Hamptons people had tables there. I forget
Yes.
sometimes, but like, yeah,
Well,
yeah,
Charlotte
like
Bronson was one of the other presenters of the party.
yeah, that was I liked obviously that was a very good mixture of music and that was that party definitely I will say for parties I tried to do afterwards, like rando and stuff like that, was definitely that party was one of the things that I thought of, especially after I started traveling, went to like LAX out here and did Center Space Tuesdays. I put those in the same sort of world of things of like those are like the really good parties of the best mixture, which like is really sad that doesn't really exist anymore. Like that, your room service one was also a very good mixture of things like back before like it was like the bottle clubs are open, but they also still need to do things on a Tuesday. And like you had like the dope mix of do stuff like let's bring in some cool people and have really dope DJs on the all and have a very good selection of group of people, which is very important things that I always paid attention to, because like when I still do parties now and stuff like that like you had a good mixture of people. I'll be very clear about this. You didn't just try to have hot girls in the party for straight men. You know what I mean?
And we also did this maniac party together.
Yes. Well, dance class is another. That was another favorite party I've done. That was like that party. Looking back at it was really dope because like it's that there's lots of music stuff that was like that's normal now to be played and stuff like that was like getting played there and like it's like like now people listen to Kaytranada and they listen to Jersey Club and stuff like that and it's like just very normal and the crazy thing about it is that like that party was a success. The only thing that wasn't a success was how Webster Hall looked at it, because they wanted everybody upstairs in a certain way. I'm like, it's not our fault if everybody comes to the downstairs. I don't know what you want us to do for your club. You got to fix the upstairs thing. I don't know. I'm sorry if we people who are younger than the people who are upstairs might have an idea what these college kids who are younger than us want to listen to. And if that wasn't like our plan, it just happened that way. That party was good because that there was mostly black and brown people and stuff there. And then, and then you brought in your people and stuff like that. I mean, Webster Hall always had queer people and stuff like that. And then, you're very cool with that community. Obviously, they came through in your party and stuff all the time, which I was a big fan of at the fucking daytime thing at Yotel, because, like, that it's just like, oh, you're DJing, you're playing this sort of music. I love the DJ.
I loved having this platform to be able. I couldn't even believe they let us get away with stuff that we did. Like, and we would pack it out. And I remember like one Easter Sunday, I think we did like almost 600 seatings. It was like 500 and something seatings, but it was fairly new. I mean, I called Erickson the Bob Barker of brunch, and I was Vanna White, and we had our like game show slash. It was kind of like a wedding too. Like the format of music, like pretty open. Like we would have people doing like the cha-cha slide and like the electric slide at the end of the brunch. Like it would just always be incorporated, and it was really just celebratory. I always felt like I was playing a bar mitzvah or like a wedding or just like someone's like sweet 16 or something. I remember when Harlem Shake came out, and Andrew were spinning for us, and I thought there was going to be a food fight because the shit got so crazy. Like everyone's napkin was one in the air, and like just nuts. And that being like such a different vibe as to what I had created at night was so cool. This was my favorite party of all time. Do you remember this?
Oh, yes.
At Imperial.
The Imperial party was crazy.
This is that picture because I gave away like 200 pairs of bunny ears at the door.
Yes.
There was a pillow fight. Do you remember that?
No, I don't even. Oh.
Yeah, this is a Bronx photo, but there was a pillow fight stage that Vito Fun started. There was people having sex on stage, and like the retro kids are dancing in the middle of it.
I like, that. I think there was too much free liquor that I was like free to go at. I don't remember. Like, so, like, I remember this. Like, it was also like it was so packed. I feel like all I have about that memory of that party is just remembering like everything to get to the party and get in the party and stuff like that was just like one of those things. Like I just don't even know. I remember the party. I have no recollection of it at all.
This is my favorite event I've ever done.
Wow, sick. I'm happy to be a part of that. Sick.
Yes, it's amazing. I have one video of that party. This was crazy.
Jesus Christ. I wish I never saw this stuff.
Why?
No, I'm just joking. Like, this doesn't make me want to party because stuff is so much different now. And I don't even know what's going on in it. Like, I'm not like, I have no nostalgia. Literally, I don't remember shit about this party, so I can't tell you shit. But I just know this sort of thing, this doesn't exist anymore. Like, just like, I can see, like, it's like, there's a certain type of, like, milling around and things just going on in the park, which is, like, structured but not structured, that you just can't get people together to do and stuff like that. It's like, it needs to be big DJs and this and these and know exactly what it is. And like, that's how it is. Like, it's, or has to be a warehouse. Like, this stuff in clubs just like doesn't exist. I hope it goes, like, we get more of that now that, we're post-pandemic, but who knows. But anyway.
Well, I think it was so special for us is like, social media had not, like, being posed and premeditated wasn't really the vibe. It was just like, we're in this and experiencing this as just living in the present moment.
Yeah.
So the only thing I would say you ever like felt like you were posted is because Bronx was there or Tone was there.
Yeah, I mean, I would say is that us, because we all friends always have photographers, and you always have parties that have photographers. We are kind of used more to being photographed in parties than other people were, So like everybody else around and stuff like that, like there's a whole, like, nobody's even like worried about videos and stuff they're acting, and also because of like what people needed to come to a party post a certain age and stuff like that just became was just like wasn't much besides like, okay, this is cool. I know the DJ. This is a fun party. I'm gonna come through. Now you just have to like you really gotta like let people know why they're gonna come to the party. Like you really have to let them know. Once the class 24, it's crazy now. Like just generation wise, like people are like, what's here, what's this, what's going on, this and that, and that's just like every city. Just it's been like that for a while.
So what were some other like I guess cultural or institutions or brands or people that you think were pushing the envelope or the
Well, obviously, it's like before my time, but I always say a motherfucker was always the one I say probably one of the best parties to go to ever. So that was always, motherfucker Michael T was always doing stuff. There was, Trouble and Bass was doing parties in New York. On definitely, they were like running the electro house side. They were like always doing things.
What were like some like things that changed your trajectory as far as I mean I'm gonna guess I don't know how you met Maddie, but signing to Throne of Blood.
Yeah, I met Maddie through my boy Bushy, who's actually in that book, Meet Me in the Bathroom. I think what changed my trajectory was definitely the Rapture thing and stuff like that, and putting out music. Like the Rapture thing just really changed everything, but more than anything, because like that just really, because I'd already been putting music out and stuff like that, and that like really changed a lot for me.
Yeah.
Definitely, that was like outside of New York world, like they booked a New Year's party and they booked me also, and it was just me and Maddie, and I like got like some other gigs around that.
Who are some of your favorite artists and DJs?
I mean, during that time, real talk, like my favorite, I would say, I like AOP a lot. He murdered it. I like Jubilee. AM, whenever I got to see like, videos of him, AM was always like very important.
The Muhammad Ali.
Yeah. I always like Ellie Escobar when he did like the hip hop sets and stuff like that. He is like, really he killed the house. So when he open format stuff, he just like I'm like, oh, this guy DJs.
So good. Oh, this was my Hey Girl Hey lifestyle enhancement video launch.
Oh my God. I still have that jacket. I still bring out the jacket because it's a good jacket. Wow, that's crazy. And who's that? That's me. Is it you?
Yes, I'm just wearing a wig. So my hair looks like fucking nuts. What songs do you think define that era or like kind of define the changes, I guess, in the culture?
I would say MIA, Spank Rock and MIA, just like as a thing in general. I would say also, that Crooker's Kid Cudi Day and Night thing is just like such a thing for that whole era. Obviously Justice was just massive. Like Justice is just massive, There'd also be like, Green Velvet Shake and Pop was a massive record during that time.
Do you have any favorite events, parties?
The human carpet thing was a travesty, and we need to talk about it. I talk about the human carpet all the time. That was the craziest thing. I can't believe we allowed that at parties. In hindsight, I think that was a wild thing, having the carpet at the party. That's all.
He is still my Facebook friend. Giorgio, the human carpet.
Yes.
He's from Malta. I know all about him. He loves me a lot. And I loved there's even this flyer. I forget. It might have been Imperial where I've heard I think it's Imperial where it's like starring Giorgio, the human carpet. A travesty.
A travesty. We all think this.
Hey, shit was ridiculous. Then the fact that like I put him on the flyer. Did you ever stand on him?
Yes, we all did because we didn't have a choice. It's under the fucking bars. You don't always know. You're like, oh, we told you have a like we all stood on them.
So how do you think all of that has affected now?
I think it's affected that now and that, you know, people are very into uniqueness, but it's a very homogeneous uniqueness and stuff like that. It's bubbled up and become such a facet of culture to a point like that. You know, the way music is now, if you listen to a pop song, it's like this has this thing. It's like a bass from this and everything. But like that's for those pop people who are producers back then, or like they grew up on that stuff. That's just like what the culture comes from. That's just like how people listen to. When you parties always are when they try to be cool and stuff like that. They have like nothing gets marketed as calm and stuff like that. The classy party really doesn't exist much. It exists in certain places and stuff like that, but it's just like it's going to be lit or something like that. Like the way flyers and the way stuff are done and stuff like that. It's a very sort of energy that like. And this is all I say. A lot of this comes from Project X. I will say that like like Project X feels like this sort of. Have you ever seen that movie Project X?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like that is like that is a very sort of thing party that you would be doing or that we would be doing and stuff like that. But it became out to the commercial world. Like Jesse Marco was the DJ in Project X, and like I've talked about this on Twitter, being like that's actually a very important cultural thing. Like I know like 24-year-olds who will be like, yeah, I saw that on the 13 that changed my life and how I looked at party. Everybody said that. There's a certain type of, you know, weird like we're going for it thing that like wasn't always everybody wasn't doing it and stuff like that. Like, like let's see what crazy times can happen at a party as opposed to we're just gonna go drink and dance. And that is like just all overall. And that's just like how things it's very subtle because what like that seems like, oh, everybody's trying to have a crazy good time. I was like, yeah, but it really wasn't like that though. Like that stuff was like extreme per se, And now it's just like
Secondary.
yeah, music wise, there's just everybody. There's so many people that like it's like I'm on that one fly with Theophilus London. Now Theophilus London works with Tame Impala. Like it's like and I'm on that song with Theophilus and Tame Impala. Like it's like there's like all these things. Like so I don't. It's always very subtle with cultural stuff. It's very hard to really pinpoint. Besides just like this comes from this.
How did the Tame Impala collaboration come about?
Well, it's a Theophilus London song featuring Tame Impala, but like their thing, and like I went to a party that Theo had, and he was just like doing a listening for like the mixtape, the preview, like a party of things, and he played the song. I was like, yo, this hook is really fire. I just tweeted about it, and I was like, yo, this thing is crazy. And then Theo responds to me. He's like, Theophilus responds to me. He's like, yo, do you want to come and help work on this in the studio? And I was like, all right, cool, yeah. I didn't know who Tame Impala was, so I really didn't know. He didn't Tame Impala was in the studio, so I went and came in, helped out on the writing of some of this stuff, and like, it helped on like to like say this stuff one way, and I did a whole little vocal section. So like, yeah, just like that simple. Just like I showed up at the party, and then I tweeted about something, and he just like, yo, come through. It's really that simple.
That's dope.
I have a question. This is a very question. What are the most important elements you think that a good party needs?
An open bar, some good music, like amazing music, and I think the male to female ratio, unless you're doing a gay party, but even like I like having all different kinds of people, but if like with Sway, for example, in even brunch, I mean, it was mostly straight. I think. I mean, it was. Who knows? You could never really tell. But I think like the ratio of sexuality or gender has to be either unknown or balanced.
Yes.
But I think open bar, great music, and all genders represented. I think also something like spontaneous and strange, like a human carpet.
Yes, I like that.
Having that element of spontaneity in there, because
Yes.
it's like, am I in a David Lynch movie or what's going on? Yeah, we'll reconvene again soon, Frog, on a dance floor with a bunch of white girls.
Yes.
Thank you so much for doing this.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thanks for hopping by. That's it for this week. Don't forget to subscribe, like, share, comment, and stalk. Bounce, little kitty.